Hey guys, Victor here, coming at you again with another deck profile, and today's focus is going to be on Hero, which, let's be brutally honest, in a format such as this where hand traps are running rampant, this deck does tend to struggle a bit more than usual, but even though we do tend to struggle, that doesn't mean we can't win games, because Darklaw is one heck of a card, and as always, when you get Darklaw on the field, a lot of the times your opponents just cannot play because so many of the decks in the current format, whether it's like Snake Eyes or Voices of Voice, are just dependent on cards going to the graveyard. So, if you're able to get Darklaw out, you've pretty much just sealed the game, and you pretty much have forced them to be able to either have the imperm or just go to next game. So with that out of the way, let's just jump straight into the deck profile. Now, as always, we're going to be starting off with the monster lineup, and as a result, we're going to be starting off with what other card but Elemental Hero Stratos, which we played two of. Not much to say. When this card is normal or special summon, right, you search for any hero monster, and it has an additional effect, which is technically its first effect, if you didn't know, where you're able to destroy spells and traps in the field up to the number of hero monsters you control besides itself. So your Xtra heroes, your vision heroes, your destiny heroes, your elemental heroes, they all count towards that effect, or each effect. So it's pretty much like the go-to starter. But I know most modern hero decks decide to play 3 Stratos just because they want to be able to normal summon it and search the deck as consistently as possible. But I don't know. I just never really feel like the 3rd Stratos is needed. It's definitely like overkill in my opinion. But that's neither here or there. If you want to play 3 Stratos, by all means, go for it. I still prefer the older ratios of 2 Stratos, 2 Elemental Hero Shadow Mist, as opposed to 3 Stratos, 1 Shadow Mist, just because I really appreciate the grind game that Shadow Mist offers you, as you're able to send it to the graveyard during your turn and your opponent's turn in order to search for an Elemental Hero monster, or a Destiny Hero monster, or a Vision Hero, or maybe a main deck Master Hero one day. Konami, please give them to us. But yeah, it's fine. It searches monsters, and then if it's special summon, it also searches for your change quick play. And like I said earlier, Darklaw is an auto win, so you typically want to special summon this card as soon as possible, just to try and help you win the game as quickly as possible, because Darklaw is one heck of a card. And then for the other elemental heroes, we play the 1 elemental hero Neos to help us into our Flame Wingman fusions, the 1 elemental hero Liquid Soldier, which can reborn level 4 heroes from your graveyard when it's normal summoned. That effect is fine. It's useful, I guess, for like when you're hit by cards such as like Droll Lockbird, as it allows you to make Bagooska the Terribly Tired Tapir in order to hopefully survive another turn. But ideally, we want its other effect, where if it uses fusion material, we draw 2 cards and discard 1 card, because drawing more cards is always a good thing. And then for the final hero monster, we're playing 1 Elemental Hero Blazeman. Now, you may be wondering, why am I playing 1 Blazeman? 1 Vision Hero Vyon does everything Blazeman does, but better. And you're totally correct. It really does do everything Blazeman does, but better. However, with the way that the current format is lined up, you're either playing like a Snake Eyes deck, a Voiceless Voice deck, or a Shifter deck. And if you get hit by Dimension Shifter, Vision Hero Vyon literally becomes useless, because you're not going to have any hero monsters in your grave. So as a result, you can't search out Polymerization. But the same cannot be said for Elemental Hero Blazeman, because when this card is normal or special summoned, it searches out a Polymerization spell card, or just Polymerization itself, not a Polymerization spell card. If it searched a Polymerization spell card, you could search Super Poly, which we can't do, so never mind. It just searches Poly. And by being able to search out Polymerization, that pretty much allows us, even if we do get hit by Dimension Shifter, to try and get to our Flame Wingman combo in order to search out our favorite contact. And then even though we do get shifted, as long as we get to the favorite contact, we can almost always guarantee that we're going to be able to get Shining Neo Swingman on the field and still interrupt our opponent during their turn. So, you know, just like that one little key difference can matter in so much in just so many different matchups. And that's the reason why I decided to play the 1 Elemental Hero Blazeman, even though it's not really as good as Vision Hero Vyon. And speaking of the Vision Heroes, we are playing the 3 Vision Hero Faris. It's pretty much going to be like your main starter always. It does everything. You know, it gives you full access to full combo by setting your Vision Hero increases into the spell and trap card zone. And then that in turn will give you access to your Vision Hero Vyon. But, you know, like I always say, it doesn't matter if you play 1, 2, or 3 Vision Hero increase, you're always going to dead draw them. So play whatever ratio you want. It really doesn't matter. You're always going to brick on them. Then that's it for the Vision Hero monsters, but we do play Destiny Hero monsters. So we play the 2 Destiny Hero Malicious, the 1 Destiny Hero Denier, and the 1 Destiny Hero Plasma. Thankfully, everyone stopped playing Destiny Hero Dark Angel, because they finally realized that card's trash, and everyone's playing a Link 1 monsters in the extra deck, which means that it's easily audible. And even without the Link 1 monsters, a lot of people are on cards like Forbidden Droplet, right? And you may be saying, Forbidden Droplet doesn't work because I have Master Hero Darklaw up on the field. Well, you're wrong. If you give him Dark Angel, they can forbidden droplet away the Dark Angel for cost, and then it doesn't matter if Dark Claw's up because Dark Angel goes to your graveyard, not their graveyard. So they're still going to be able to negate something and then freely commit to their plays after that. So, you know, don't play that card. Please don't play that card. It's not good. And that's it for the hero monsters, but we do play one other monster, being the one Crosskeeper. I really like this card just because it has a couple of effects, right? But the main one that we're typically going to be using is banishing this card from the graveyard, and then it becomes Liquid Soldier. So you draw 2. However, except instead of discarding a card, we put a card to the bottom of our deck. So if we end up drawing a brick, like Vision Hero Increase, for example, we can just take that increase, put it at the bottom of our deck, and make our Vision Hero Vyons live. Or even then, like, there's other cards, right? You open double Malicious, Denier, you need to turn on your Fusion Destinies, and you don't want any of the cards to be in your hand. You have lots of choices thanks to Crosskeeper. And it also has, like, an additional effect, too, which is going to be, like, one of its main saving graces in the situations where you get hit by cards such as Droll and Lockbird, for example, where you can send this card to the graveyard, and then you can special summon a hero monster, an elemental hero monster from your graveyard or from your hand. If it's from the graveyard, you negate its effects, but it honestly doesn't matter. All that matters is that we're going to get an additional summon for a level 4 monster, and then we're going to make Bagooska, and hopefully that can help us survive a turn. Hopefully. I don't really like playing any hand traps in this deck either. I just feel like Heroes as a deck is meant more to break boards than prevent boards. So cards like Ash, Effect Veiler, you know, things of that nature just aren't really worth it for me. And then even like the more impactful traps, right? Such as Nibiru or the Bestials, for example. If you're playing it's like a voiceless voice deck, while they're good, they do turn off a lot of key cards, such as like a Hero Lives, because you end up clogging your field with monsters, which means that you turn those cards off, and I'd much rather have a Hero Lives in my hand than pretty much Nibiru every single time. So with that, that's the monster lineup. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and now we can move on to the Spell and Trap lineup. Now that we're on the Spell and Trap lineup, I figured it's probably appropriate to start with the main starter of the deck, being 3 Hero Lives, and this is pretty much like one of the cards that I was mentioning when talking about why you shouldn't really rely on cards like the Nibiru or the Bestials in order to get your game plan done, just because in order to activate this card, first off, you have to pay half your life points, and on top of that, you need to control no face-up monsters on the field. And if you have a face-up monster, i.e. Nib or a Bestial, this card basically just becomes a brick, and that's not really a good thing to have when this card is going to be like one of your more important and main starters for the deck. Especially because it pretty much gives you access to whatever your hand currently needs at the moment, right? If you need to change quick play, you add Shadow Mist, or you special summon Shadow Mist. If you need to add Polymerization to hand, you special summon Blazeman. If you just want a monster search for, say, Vision Hero Faris, you special summon Stratos. Whatever you special summon off of this card is pretty much going to be the game winner. And this card is also really phenomenal at helping you bait out hand traps, right? It's pretty much like the perfect scrub killer, because they're always going to see special summon from deck, and then they're going to be inclined to waste their cards like Ash Blossom in order to try and stop this, which if you've played Heroes for a decent amount of time, you know that ashing this pretty much is never the correct play. Your hand has to be like super garbage in order to be able to ash this and make it be like the be-all end-all end your turn type of play. But that doesn't really frequently happen, and hopefully it doesn't happen to you, even though it can happen. So yeah, like this is pretty much like the best card to punish the bad players, and it happens way more frequently than you think. So by ashing this, you in turn are able to freely resolve cards like Fusion Destiny, which is pretty much like the only other 3 of that we play, and it's an incredible card, you know. Destroy your Phoenix Enforcer, access to having pretty much a Destiny Hero Plasma immediately thanks to fodder. This card pretty much does it all. It's just unfortunate that after this card resolves, it locks you into Dark Heroes, because that means that you're pretty much forced to use this card as a last resort after all your plays have been committed. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to have access to key plays such as like your Wingman Fusion line and things of that nature. But it's perfectly fine, just because this card does so much for the deck, and it turns your bad hands into good hands, just because being able to summon, like I said, Enforcer plus Plasma in a lot of situations can just straight up end the game, much like a single Dark Claw can. And next, we're going to be playing a couple of 2-ofs, being the 2 Mass Change. I'm constantly going back and forth if I want to play 3 or 1 or 2 on this card, just because it can pretty much do it all, right? Like I said, Dark Claw is incredibly important, but if you're going second, you don't really want to play Mass Change, just because it's not really a brick, but it doesn't really help you advance your game state. But if you're going first, you pretty much always want to see this card in your hand with a Dark Monster, because Dark Claw is Dark Claw. So I guess 2 is perfectly fine in the main deck, and then you side the 3rd. So for when you go first, you put the 3rd in to help you ensure that you can get the Dark Claw as often as possible. And if you're going second, you take 1 out in order to not brick as heavily on this card. So yeah, 2 Mass Change, perfectly fine. And then to go with the 2 Mass Change, we're playing 2 Polymerization. I really enjoyed this card too, just because it helps you break boards so frequently, and it just helps you get your play started, and you're not as reliant on cards like Vision Hero Vyon or Elemental Hero Blazeman to resolve in order to actually get your plays across, but it does, you know, like help a lot more too. And since you're playing more than one Polymerization, that also means you don't have to waste your Xtra Hero Wonder Driver immediately. You can be a little bit more conservative and save it for like the following turn, if there is a following turn. But yeah, I really enjoyed two, but I can understand if you only want to play one. Then next, we play a couple of board breakers, being the 2 Forbidden Droplet, just a solid card, and the 2 Triple Tactics Talents. Since we're not playing hand traps, you pretty much have to rely on these, but we wanted to make it as varied as possible, which is why we're playing 2 Talents, 2 Droplet, and then I guess I'm also going to be playing 2 Infinite Impermanence, but it's imperm. And with those 6 cards, you should hopefully be able to break through most boards. And honestly, it's gotten to the point where I almost want to play 3 of each, just because there's so many hand traps in the format where Talents is pretty much always going to be live, and then Forbidden Droplet is just incredible whether you're going first or second. But I don't know. For now, 2/2/2 is perfectly fine. And then we just play a bunch of 1-of spells, being the 1 Reinforcement of the Army to help us search out any warrior monster that's level 4 or lower. The 1 Foolish Burial, which is basically Reinforcement of the Army, but it sends to grave. And it does have like a couple of other applications too, right? You can send Shadow Mist to search for a hero monster. You can send your Destiny hero monsters to set up your Cross Crusaders. You can send your Cross Keeper if you just like it's in your deck, right? You go Foolish, send Cross Keeper, Polymerization with your Liquid Soldier plus, I don't know, Neos, for example. Then you summon out your Flame Wingman. Your Flame Wingman's effect activates as Chainlink 3 to search the trap, and then for your Cross Keeper and your Liquid Soldier, it doesn't really matter. But essentially, you're going to be drawing 4 cards, and drawing 4 cards is always good. Then the other ones are the 1 Called by the Grave and the 1 Miracle Fusion. Pretty straightforward, nothing too revolutionary as far as like the spell lineup goes. And then we have our traps. So we have the aforementioned Infinite Impermanence, and then lastly the 1 Favorite Contact, which allows us to special summon fusion monsters from by recycling cards from pretty much anywhere, whether it's like our field or grave or banish zone. And just be aware though that this card special summons a fusion monster. It does not fusion summon a fusion monster. So say for example you special summon a Wake Up Your Elemental Hero or a Destiny Hero Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer. Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer, it will be able to bring back a monster that's a Destiny Hero monster, but it cannot bring itself back because it was not properly special summoned or fusion summoned. And then for Wake Up Your Elemental Hero, because it wasn't fusion summoned, if it's destroyed, it will not special summon a warrior monster from your deck. So just be aware, you know, things like that do come up. And it's very easy to miss. So with that, that's the spell and trap lineup, 40 cards like always, and now we can finally move on to the Xtra deck. Now the first monster I want to talk about when talking about the Xtra deck is actually not going to be a hero monster, and it's going to be the only non-hero card we play, being number 41, Bagooska, the Terribly Tired Tapir. What can I say? This card is literally only in here for when, not if, when you get hit by Droll and or Dimension Shifter, and hopefully it's going to be enough to buy you a turn and hopefully survive for your next turn. But there's no guarantee, you know. Your opponent could just have the impermanence straight up win the game anyways, but it's better to do something than nothing in my opinion, which is why we just play the 1. And then for the links that we're playing the 1 Xtra Hero Wonder Driver. When an elemental hero is normal or special summoned to a zone it points to, you can reset basically any fusion card, right? You can set your Miracle Fusions, you can set your Change Quake Plays, you can set your Fusion Destinies, you can set your Polymerizations. It pretty much sets everything. And sometimes you see people playing more than 1 of this, and that's perfectly fine as well. I've definitely considered playing more than 1, but because of the fact that we play 2 Polymerizations, and we're typically going to be a lot more conservative with our plays, we don't really need more than 1 Xtra Hero Wonder Driver to accomplish our mission. And then to go with that one, we're also playing 1 Xtra Hero Infernal Devicer. This card is literally just add Elemental Hero Neos. That's it. That's all it does. That literally do not care. It just adds Neos to hand. It also happens to be a dark, right? So if you have mass change, this can be a Dark Claw target potentially, but it's basically just there to search Neos. Then to go with that, we're playing 2 Xtra Hero Cross Crusaders. It special summons any Destiny Hero monster from your graveyard, and then you contribute a Destiny Hero monster to search for any hero monster. Really good card at helping you ensure that you can actually get your combo pieces to your hand. Just be aware that if you're playing cards like Super Polymerization, which I have done at one point, you're not going to be able to use Xtra Hero Cross Crusaders effect all that well, just because it's dependent on you not summoning anything but hero monsters for the entire turn. So say for example you super poly in like draw phase or whatever, you make Garura or Mud Dragon of the Swamp, you've essentially just turned off your Cross Crusaders for that turn. So as a result, don't rely on it. Just because, like, I don't know why they included the restriction on these cards, but they did. You know, Konami just hates hero players, I guess. They'd rather just milk us for our money and give us bad cards. But hey, you know, whatever. You take what you can get. And that's it for the Link monsters. We don't play Dread Decimator because it's bad. It doesn't do anything. All your monsters are already really strong anyway, so that extra 100 or 1,000 boost pretty much never comes up. And then for the fusion monsters, we're going to start off with the Destiny Hero monsters, being the one Destiny Hero Dangerous. This is just so that you could have the Insta Dark Claw play. And for those of you that don't know what it is, you just activate Fusion Destiny, you send Destiny Hero Malicious with Elemental Hero Shadow Mist, but you don't activate your Shadow Mist effect. And then after that, you activate your Malicious, so you have your Dangerous and your Malicious on field. You link it to Cross Crusader. Cross Crusader brings back either one, it doesn't matter. You tribute them off of Cross Crusader's effect. You search for Liquid Soldier. You normal Liquid Soldier. Liquid Soldier's effect activates Special Summon Shadow Mist, and then boom, you have Mass Change because you're going to Special Summon Shadow Mist and activate its effect to search it. So pretty simple. It's not always going to come up, but it's the possibility is there, especially if like you know in like game 3 you're in an auto win matchup where Dark Claw can just straight up end the turn or end the game. That's typically what the line you should be doing is. Then to go with that, we're playing the one Destiny Hero Dystopia. This is basically just like a time card because when this card is special summoned, you burn your opponent for a level 4 or lower Destiny Hero monster in your graveyard. And you know, it's okay. It also has like another effect where if its attack is changed, whether it's like lowered or increased, you can change its attack back to normal, and then you can destroy one card of the field. So pretty cool, especially because we play Elemental Hero Sunrise, which automatically adjusts attack. And even if you're playing something random, right? Say, for example, Sky Striker, if they have a Shizuku out on the field and they're altering your attack, you can special summon Dystopia, you can burn, and then because your Dystopia's effect is or attack is already affected by Shizuku lowering it, you can destroy a card on the field, and you've pretty much just cleared your opponent's entire board for nothing. So it's pretty good. Then for the final Destiny Hero monster, we're playing one Destiny Hero Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer. Some people play two. Some people play one. I prefer playing one, but if you really want to play two, you obviously just cut the Destroyer or Dystopia because it's just not needed, if I'm being honest. Like I said, it's just like a time card, but hopefully you shouldn't be going to time with this deck just because like the games should be finishing pretty quickly. But Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer, what can I say? Card is phenomenal. Destroys cards, it reborns Destiny Hero monsters, it just does everything. Then for the Elemental Hero fusions, we're going to be playing the one Elemental Hero Escuridao. This is literally the only Omni hero that I play. Shining, Great Tornado, Nova Master, Gaia, all bad, unfortunately. Absolute Zero, while it's okay, doesn't really have a place in this format just because so many cards float. This is pretty much like the only one you use just because Fusion Destiny, like I said, it does lock you into Dark Hero monsters. So having the option to summon this one out because it is a Dark and it is a hero monster, can sometimes just win you the game because just because of its availability, right? I know it sounds stupid, but it does come up more often than you think where you're just locked into darks and you need to make something, and this one just happens to be there. So yeah, you play the one Elemental Hero Escuridao, and then you play the one Elemental Hero Sunrise. It boosts all your monsters by 200 for every different attribute you control. If a hero monster attacks or is attacked, you can destroy one card on the field as long as it's not Sunrise that's being attacked or involved in that battle. But any other hero monster that attacks or is attacked, you can destroy one card on the field once per turn. And when this card is special summoned, not fusion summoned, special summoned, you can search Miracle Fusion from your deck and add it to your hand. And the reason that's important is because we play the one Elemental Hero Flame Wingman Infernal Rage, which when you use Neos as a material, it's able to special summon level 7 or lower hero fusions from your extra deck or from your main deck that cannot be normal summoned or set. And this is typically what you're going to be special summoning off of Flame Wingman, just because, you know, you special summon this, you search out your favorite contact, and then after that, you special summon this and search out your Miracle Fusion, and then you have a bunch of plays for your follow-up on the next turn. But this card, really good card just because it allows you to have like another dimension to this deck, and this is actually one of the main ways that you can play through Dimension Shifter as well, right? And it's one of the main reasons why we play Blazeman, just because you go special Blazeman as long as you have another hero monster. Hopefully it's a Neos. You activate Polymerization, you fuse into this, you search out your favorite contact, and then you can either bring out hopefully your Shiny Neo Swingman, but there are a bunch of other fusions that you can summon as well. If you're playing Absolute Zero, which I'm not, you could potentially summon that. You can summon Destroy Your Phoenix Enforcer. You can summon, you know, like Shiny Neo Swingman. The potential is there to help you live for a turn. And this is one of the main cards that we can use to play through cards like Dimension Shifter. So, you know, just things to consider. Then we're playing the 1 Elemental Hero Shiny Neo Swingman. Pops cards equal to the number of attributes on the field. So it counts your opponents and it counts yours. And it's very easy to get 3 to 5 pops convincingly, if I'm being honest. So card's pretty good. And then it gains 300 attack for every single monster in the graveyard, not just hero monster, every monster. So if you decide to play hand traps for whatever reason, those cards do count towards its total, just like the original Shining Neos, or just like the original Flame Wingman or Shining Flame Wingman. Oh, those are tongue twisters. If this card destroys a monster by battle, you get to burn them for their attack, and it's always really strong, so it hits like a truck and can end your opponents pretty much instantly. And then for some reason, it can't be destroyed by card effects. So if you have like Enforcer plus this card, you can go Enforcer effect, destroy Shiny Neo Swingman and another card, and you've basically just got a free pop for nothing. So yeah, card's pretty good. And then for the final Elemental Hero Fusion monster, you play the 1 Wake Up Your Elemental Hero. So this card gains 300 attack for every material used, and then for every fusion monster used to summon this, it gets an additional attack. But it honestly doesn't really come up all that often. It's basically just there for when you're already out of resources or you're just trying to flex on your opponent. And if this card is destroyed, for example, you're able to special summon a warrior monster from your deck. It doesn't have to be a hero monster. You can special summon pretty much any warrior monster, which is why you saw people taking cards such as like UA Perfect Ace, for example, because it's a warrior, it's an Omni Negate, and you know, it's a cute tech. But this is like the last card that we're ever going to be summoning off a Miracle Fusion, unless we're trying to flex or just finish off our opponent. And then, like I said, that's it for the hero monsters. And then we just play 2 Masked Heroes, being the 2 Masked Hero Darklaw, because Darklaw auto wins games. And with that, that's the hero deck. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys next time. See ya!